I'm 27 male, have always known my mom favor my stepsister, but I never thought she'd go as far as erasing me from existence. My parents divorced when I was 10. My dad remarried first, then my mom. She married this guy who already had a daughter, 24F, and from that point on, it was like I was just a guest in her life. Her new husband barely tolerated me, and my mom? She was too busy playing the perfect wife and stepmom. I didn't make a fuss. I split time between both homes, did my own thing, and when I turned 18, I moved out and focused on building my own life. I tried to maintain some kind of relationship with my mom, but it was always me making the effort. If I didn't call or visit, I wouldn't hear from her for weeks, sometimes months. Then, last month, my aunt called me, absolutely furious. "You won't believe what your mother just did," she hissed over the phone. "She threw a massive gala for your stepsister. Huge event, catered, expensive venue. And in her speech, she called her her only child, her one and only daughter." I laughed, not because it was funny, but because at that moment, something inside me just snapped. I hadn't expected much from her for a long time, but to publicly pretend I didn't exist, after years of me trying to maintain some kind of relationship, that was a whole new level of messed up. So I did what any rational, mature adult would do. I showed up. Now, I wasn't invited, obviously, but my aunt was, and she gave me all the details. It was at some fancy venue, the kind of place where, as long as you look like you belong, no one questions you. So I put on my best suit, walked in like I owned the place, and blended into the crowd. It was lavish. Chandeliers, champagne, the whole works. My stepsister was the star of the night, standing on a stage while my mom gave her speech. My beautiful daughter, my pride and joy, my only child. That's when I knew my aunt hadn't been exaggerating. I waited for the applause to die down, then stepped forward, raising my glass. Loud enough for everyone to hear, I said, "A toast to my mother and her only child." Dead. Silence. My mom's face went pale. My stepsister looked like she wanted to disappear. Some guests awkwardly looked at each other. Others, mostly extended family, were watching very closely. I smiled. Wow, 27 years on this planet, and I just found out I was never actually born. Or maybe I was just a ghost all these years. I turned to my mom, tilting my head. "Tell me, Mother, when exactly did you decide to erase me? Before or after I stopped being useful to you?" The murmur started. My mom's husband looked like he wanted to lunge at me. "You have no right to be here," he hissed. I ignored him. My eyes were locked on my mom. She was scrambling for words, but there was nothing she could say that would fix this. "You know what's funny?" I continued, still smiling. "I actually thought we had some kind of relationship. I mean, sure, you never put in the effort, but I thought maybe, just maybe, you still consider me your son." I let out a short laugh. Guess I was wrong. My mom finally found her voice. "This isn't the time or place." "No, you made sure your time and place didn't include me. So I'm making sure mine includes you." Gasps. A few people looked downright gleeful at the unfolding drama. My aunt was covering her mouth, trying to hide a grin. Then I delivered the final blow. You know what else is funny? I remember a certain life insurance policy from Dad. I let my words sink in. "You always told me that money was put away for family needs. But now, standing in this very expensive party, I'm thinking maybe family didn't include me." My mom froze. The whispers turned into full-blown murmurs. That money was supposed to be split between us. But I had never seen a dime. Meanwhile, my stepsister had a fully funded college education, a new car, and, apparently, a gala in her honor. I downed my champagne in one gulp, set the glass down, and gave my mom one last look. "Enjoy your party, Mother. You and your only child." Then I walked out. But I wasn't done. I went home and started digging. I reached out to the insurance company, explaining that I was a named beneficiary and had the right to see the records. It took some back and forth, but eventually I got the documents. And there it was. Half of that money was legally mine. But my mom had drained the account years ago. Every cent had been spent on my stepsister's tuition, her car, her trips, and, I'm guessing, this ridiculous party. Meanwhile, I had worked my way through school, juggling jobs and scholarships, never knowing that money should have been there for me. I wasn't about to let that slide. The next morning, I met with a lawyer. After reviewing the evidence, he was blunt. This is fraud. We can take legal action, but we'll need records. So I gathered everything. Bank statements, old emails, anything that proved she had stolen my share. And then, I sued her. When my mom got served with legal papers, she lost it. She called me, screaming about family and how I was being ungrateful. After everything I've done for you, you're suing me. I stayed calm. Everything you've done for me? Like what? Lying to me? Stealing from me? That money was used for the family, she snapped. No, it was used for your husband and your stepdaughter, not for me. She tried guilt-tripping me, but I wasn't falling for it. I let my lawyer handle it from then on. The case dragged on for months. My mom's reputation tanked. The news spread like wildfire in her social circle. She tried to settle. Her lawyer offered a fraction of what she owed, hoping I'd back down. I refused. I wanted every cent, and I wanted people to know exactly what she did. Eventually, she realized she had no choice. She settled, in full. Since she had already spent my share, she had to liquidate assets. She sold her luxury car. She sold jewelry. She even had to dip into her precious savings. But the best part? My stepsister had to drop out of her very expensive graduate program because, surprise, surprise, there was no more money left. After the lawsuit, my mom tried to reconcile. She sent messages, left voicemails, even showed up at my door once, crying about how she never meant to hurt me. I didn't let her in. She wasn't sorry for what she did. She was sorry she got caught. As for my stepsister, she tried reaching out too, saying she had no idea and that she shouldn't be punished for our mother's mistakes. I ignored her. She had no problem enjoying my money when it benefited her. I don't regret anything. I got my money. I got my revenge. And most importantly, I got the closure I never knew I needed. Some people might say, but she's your mother. To that, I say, a mother doesn't erase her child. A mother doesn't steal from her son. A mother doesn't lie to his face for years. She made her choice, and I made mine. Oh, and if you enjoyed this, maybe hit that subscribe button. You know, unlike my mom, I actually acknowledge everyone in my life.